Hey everybody, what's going on? Hexlex here, again, another Master Duel video for you. So, as we always do once a week, this is going to be This Week in Master Duel, where we cover all of the latest happenings in Master Duel, as far as news, updates, and then, of course, towards the end of the video, we will look at this week's tournament results and see what decks have been doing well in tournaments lately. But before I go ahead and jump into that, just want to give everyone a quick reminder that I did start, as of this past month, streaming regularly on Twitch, and I've been doing that the whole month, streaming mostly 3, sometimes 2 times a week, sometimes 4 though too. I think maybe this next week with the Kashtira pack dropping, I might actually do 4 streams that week and, you know, have one of the streams be me opening the new selection pack and playing a bunch of those. So if you want to see me open a whole bunch of packs right when the set drops, again, I'm planning on doing that. So make sure that you are following over on Twitch so that we get notification of when that happens. Or you can also follow me over on Twitter, where I post my weekly stream schedule every single week. So anyway, now that plugging is out of the way, as always, we're going to start here in Client and see what the latest happenings have been here in Master Duel. We did get a notice of a new tryout that's going to be happening pretty soon here. It's going to be the double deck tryout again, so you get to pick a deck for specifically going first and one for specifically going second. And as long as you get 3 wins, I think it is, you get a single selection pack. Woo! Yeah, you know, whatever. We had the new season start, which of course came on the 1st there. Of course, the big thing that's happened in the past week, which I've already covered in its own video, is the Forbidden/Limited List update. I'll go ahead and go over it very briefly here, but if you want to see me talk about it in more detail, definitely go ahead and check out that video I posted about a week ago. So let's see here. Kelbeck got banned. Diablosis also got banned. As far as cards that got limited, it was Nimble Beaver and Tearlament's Havness. And then finally, for cards that had the number of copies lifted, Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, number 75, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, and then Adamantipator Analyzer. These cards all going to 3 is fine. Havness going to 1 is super unnecessary. Tearlaments are already very weak, especially compared to how they were before, and the arrival of Tearlament's Kashtira is honestly, in my opinion, not going to help them very much at all. Nimble Beaver to 1 is definitely an indicator, along with Swap Frog going to 1, that to me it seems like Konami doesn't want pure Sprite to be a thing, but they're fine with Sprite continuing to support new releases, which I'm relatively fine with as well. Thank God Diablosis got banned, because Tearlament's Kashtira would have been even dumber than they're going to be with this card legal, so thank God that got banned. And then Kelbeck, I mean, yeah, it's, you know, these Shizu cards are very, very powerful and annoying, but in terms of, you know, as how much play they were seeing, it was not much at all. So it's like, I'm not particularly sad about Kelbeck going, but I don't think it was necessarily needed either. So that's a very brief rundown about the ban list. Again, if you want more details, feel free to go ahead and watch my video that was dedicated to the topic. And then we also had the new gate added to the 6 Samurai solo mode, which covered the legendary 6 Samurai support. So that was pretty neat. 200 gems rather there, if you haven't gotten that yet, as well as the, I think there was like an icon and maybe some sleeves, but all around cool stuff. At this point, we're kind of still just in the new selection pack waiting room, slash new ban list waiting room as well. That'll be going live. The new ban list will be going live here in less than a week. And then we don't have an official date for the new selection pack yet, but just following the trend of releases, we should be seeing the new selection pack drop a week from today, is what I'm thinking. So hopefully that's the case, and yeah, we can go ahead and start opening those packs a week from today. Again, we'll be doing that live on Twitch, and then I'll probably just go ahead and throw up the video here on YouTube as well. But alright, let's go ahead and pop on over to Master Duel Meta so we can see some of the less than official news that's been coming out this week here. There's been a good amount of leaks for the new selection pack. 3 more series of leaks, not anything too major from what it looks like. It's mostly just going to be some of the more minor stuff that will be accompanying the major archetype releases of Kashtira, Rescue Ace, and Gishki in this pack. Scareclaw is getting some new support cards. With the second wave of Kashtira support coming out, it seems like they are dropping some more of the overall Vysis Starfrost lore cards, and quite a few of those are going to be Scareclaw. Scareclaw does, in addition to Tearlaments, also get a new Kashtira monster. Scarelament, wow. Scareclaw Kashtira, rather, is a level 7 Earth Psychic with 0 attack and 2,600 defense points. During the main phase, as a quick effect, so during either player's main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, banish one Kashtira or Scareclaw card from your hand or graveyard. This card can attack while in face-up defense position. If it does, apply its defense for damage calc. If your Kashtira or Scareclaw monster battles an opponent's monster, that opponent's monster's effects are negated until the end of this turn. This is mainly just used as an extender in Kashtira. As far as I know, I don't really think Scareclaw gets too much use out of this. This is an extender that doesn't require you to have a Scareclaw monster on the field, which a lot of them do have that requirement. So there is that, which might be potentially nice, but it doesn't really seem like it adds too much to Scareclaw's strategy. Again, not that it really adds that much to Kashtira's strategy either. It's mostly just an extender, I think, for either archetype. So, alright, Scareclaw Decline. Going to be a normal spell card. You can target one permanent planet Reichphobia you control or in your graveyard, return it to the hand. Then, if you control Vysa Starfrost, you can change one face-up monster your opponent controls to face-down defense position. If 3 or more defense position monsters are on the field, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Scareclaw card from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Scareclaw Decline once per turn. I think this card's pretty garbage. I don't know, like, Primitive Planet Reichphobia is a really good card, but I don't think it's so good that you need to, like, add it from grave or, like, bounce it, right? Like, bouncing the Primitive Planet, you can't actually then activate it again to get into their search, assuming it's not the same turn that you activated it. So it's like, this card is only good, like, if you were able to get the Primitive Planet out on turn 1, and then even then it's only good really on turn 3. So it's like, I don't think the graveyard effect is that great, and I don't think it's worth putting Vysa Starfrost in your Scareclaw deck just to book an opponent's monster at spell speed 1. Scareclaw Defanging. This is going to be a continuous spell card. Your opponent cannot target Scareclaw Link monsters or Vysa Starfrost you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Banish any monster destroyed by battle with a Scareclaw Link monster or Vysa Starfrost you control. You can banish one Scareclaw Link monster from your field or graveyard, and then target one card your opponent controls. Destroy it. You can only use this effect of Scareclaw Defanging once per turn. This card is definitely better than the last one for sure, but it's still, I'm not really sure. I mean, to be fair, I don't play Scareclaw as like a dedicated archetype. The only time I've really played Scareclaw is using them as an engine in like a math mech deck, right? So I don't really have too much experience to say, you know, super definitively how good these Scareclaw cards are. Just going off of what I know about the archetype from having played against it / with it a little bit, and just kind of evaluating the cards here. So, to me, Scareclaw Defanging seems just a little win more in pretty much all of its respects, right? Particularly the inability to target or destroy Scareclaw Link monsters or have monsters that are destroyed by battle with them get banished. I mean, obviously those are good effects, but again, I just think they're a bit win more because, you know, if you've already got the Scareclaw Link 3 on the field, then you're usually doing pretty well because you've probably got the setup where you have it pointing to a bunch of your Scareclaw monsters that make it so it can do piercing and, you know, all that fun stuff, and it'll already be switching and negating the majority of your opponent's monsters anyway. It's like, yes, this does help protect that Link 3, but does the Link 3 really need this? Does the archetype really need this? I'm inclined to say no, personally. I will say that the ability to banish a Scareclaw Link from the graveyard and pop a card is a little bit more noteworthy because you can use it with your Link 1 that you'll send as part of your combos. The problem is that, you know, popping cards kind of requires you to have your opponent have cards on the field for you to pop, right? Which really makes this effect mostly only good going second. So, I just think this card is too situational / win more to really see play in a Scareclaw deck from what I know about Scareclaw, so. And then Scareclaw Twin Saw is going to be our last 2 Scareclaw card. Normal trap card, tribute 1 Scareclaw monster, then target 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy them, and if you control Vysa Starfrost, banish them. If a Link 3 or higher monster is on the field, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Neither player can activate the effects of Link monsters on the field this turn. You can only activate 1 Scareclaw Twin Saw per turn. So, they do get an Icarus attack, which I think of all the support cards, I mean, except for maybe Scareclaw Kashtira, this is probably the most likely to see play, but again, I just personally don't know how much this archetype really wants an Icarus attack. I know that they can often end on, you know, kind of an axis of leftover Scareclaw monsters, but I don't know how searchable a Scareclaw trap card is within that archetype. If this card is easily searchable, I think it's a pretty decent inclusion. I guess to be fair, you could search it off of the Scareclaw Rykart relatively easily. You might splash one copy of this. I will say if you do activate the second effect, keep in mind that does affect you as well, so you do have to be mindful of that, but it's definitely not a bad effect either. So overall, I don't think the Scareclaw support is going to like revolutionize the archetype or anything. The Scareclaw Cashier does offer an extender / starter that doesn't require you to have Scareclaw cards on the field. And the Twin Saw I think is interesting as an Icarus attack. This card I think is far too situational to ever be good, and this one is fine, but I think also still a little bit too situational. So, alright, we also have some Prediction Princess support coming in. Prediction Princess, for those who don't know, is a flip and ritual-based archetype that's not particularly good, to be blunt, and to also be blunt about it, I don't think these new cards will make them good, but we'll go ahead and gloss over them here real quick anyway. Prediction Princess Bibliomuse is a level 9 fairy flip, Earth 2500 attack and defense. As a flip effect, you can add a Prediction Princess monster except this card, and one ritual spell from your deck to your hand. If this card is tributed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card in face down defense position. You can only use each of the preceding effects of Prediction Princess Bibliomuse once per turn. Your opponent cannot target ritual monsters you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. For the ritual monster, we have Prediction Princess Tarot Wreath? It's like a tarot as in like tarot cards, and then Wraith, I guess? I don't know. Anyway, she is a level 9 Dark Fairy Ritual with 1200 attack, 2700 defense. You can ritual summon this card with Underworld Ritual of Prediction. Must be ritual summoned or special summoned with Prediction Princess Tarot Ray, which is actually a different card, even though they have mostly the same name. I'm guessing that's the other ritual monster. I just don't know much about the archetype. You can only use each effect of Prediction Princess Tarot Wraith once per turn. Quick effects, you can activate one of these effects. Flip any number of face-up monsters you control to face-up defense position. Flip any number of face-up monsters you control to face-down defense position. As a flip effect, you can special summon one flip monster from your deck in face-down defense position. And the ritual spell card associated with that monster is going to be Underworld Ritual of Prediction. This card is used to ritual summon any Prediction Princess ritual monster from your hand or graveyard in face-up attack position or face-down defense position. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the level of a ritual monster you ritual summon. During the standby phase, if you control a Prediction Princess ritual monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one non-ritual Prediction Princess monster from your deck in face-down defense position. So, I won't deny that this ritual spell card definitely reads as some very powerful support. Being able to summon any Prediction Princess from the deck in face-down defense mode seems pretty good, although it only is during the standby phase if you have a Prediction Princess ritual monster. So, quite a few hoops to jump through in order to get that kind of a strong effect. The ritual monster is like, I don't know, fine, I guess. Like, being able to special a flip monster from the deck is cool, but it would be so much better if you could also flip down your opponent's face-up monsters. Like, if it could also, like, if the quick effect was to flip up all face-up monsters on the field into face-down defense position, then I would actually consider, like, looking at this card, like, not just as part of, you know, the Prediction Princess archetype, but, like, this card being an incentive to play the archetype as a whole. But it only affects your board, so it's like, eh. And then, yeah, I don't know, this main deck monster is, like, it's got good effects, but it's level 9, and it's a flip effect monster, so it's like, yikes. Yeah, I don't know, the cards seem cute, but definitely not enough to make Prediction Princess, viable or like worth considering any more than you might have already been, in my opinion. So Sue Ship gets exactly one new card in the new pack. It's a continuous spell card, Gunkin Sue Ship Catch of the Day, a continuous spell that says once per turn you can reveal one Gunkin Sue Ship Shari in your hand, place one counter on this card, and if you do, reveal one Gunkin Exceeds monster from your extra deck, and your opponent declares one Gunkin monster's card name except Gunkin Sue Ship Shari that is mentioned on any Gunkin Exceeds monster Then you can add that declared card from your deck to your hand. If you cannot add, shuffle this card into the deck. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by a card effect, your opponent pays exactly 500 life points for each counter on this card. This card, like all Suship cards, is cute and really flavorful. The idea that, like, you show your opponent a menu and they pay life points via these counters. Again, you know, it's cute, but it's like, is it actually going to make the deck competitive or even, you know, good? Like, even rogue? Like, no. The answer is no, frankly. So, cute, but ultimately not super worth considering, in my opinion. I don't know, I feel kind of mean saying that, but at the same time, it's like, Suship isn't, like, competitively worth considering now, and this card isn't going to make it so. So, again, just a bunch of cute, small stuff that's overall getting added to various archetypes in this selection pack that we're seeing leaks for here. Alright, gonna take a look at some tournament results. The Decade Meta Weekly is gonna be the first one we're taking a look at with 113 participants, and Rika actually taking the most top 16 slots. This, I think, is indicative more than anything else. Not even just more than anything else. It is just purely indicative of the fact that top cuts in tournaments are not necessarily sole representations of what's powerful in the meta. You might see this and think, whoa, what happened to Rika all of a sudden? Did they get a new support card? Did the meta shift in their favor? Is the deck actually, like, a lot better than people think? Well, the latter might honestly be true, but the reason you're seeing so many more Rikas here than you have in past weeks is because this tournament took place the same day that YCS Dortmund wrapped up, where we have another Europe event where Rika is winning again, so naturally Rika gets a lot of hype behind it, more people bring it to the tournament, and thus it does well in the top results as well. So the top cut of tournaments, it is obviously a decent indication of a deck's power level, but it will ultimately be more representative of a deck's representation than anything else. And ultimately just give an indication of, like, what players think of a meta more than the meta itself. So it looks like Pearly ended up being the deck that won here. It's a very standard list here. Actually, extremely standard list here. No Dark Worlds, nothing fancy. We're playing Duels, I imagine, because we anticipate on facing a lot of Pearlies in the tournament, which makes sense. So we see Brandon Despia coming in second place. A 60-card variant with the One of Grass, which is pretty rad. Looks like they're also playing that Destiny Hero package to play around Noir with the Plasma, because Destiny Hero Plasma, the negating effect is continuous, so Noir is affected by it. Noir is only unaffected by activated effects, and then once the Noir is negated, you can easily just attach it with the Plasma here. So it's a cute little tech line that some Despia decks are playing to out the Noir. Oh my god, I saw this list and it makes me want to try this deck. We're seeing Prank Kid, Adventure Sprite here. Or maybe it's more accurate to say Adventure Sprite, Prank Kids. Some combination of the three archetypes, which is really, really cool. It's been a hot minute since I've played a Prank Kids deck. And the archetype in theory does work very well with sprites. In particular, I've thought about using Prank Kids as a sprite engine because any one Prank Kids monster by itself will result you with a level 2 and a link 2 to start making plays, so which is neat. This list is clearly playing much more into the Prank Kids side of the deck than a sprite package, but using sprite as an engine as opposed to using Prank Kids as an engine for sprites, but still really cool, still awesome to see this list here. I love lists like this. Thunder Dragon doing well yet again. I mentioned this last week, and it's something that is, of course, still very true, that you'll often see the decks that are actually winning or doing very, very well in these tournaments are ones that tend to be more rogue, but the player presumably knows the deck well. So I've said it before, again, I said this last week, and I'll say it again. If you're about to enter a tournament and you're debating between a top meta deck that you don't know as well or a rogue deck that you know very, very well, I would suggest always going with the rogue deck because your knowledge of a deck will be more of a factor than the deck's power level. Alright, looks like we have Mikanko here, doing pretty decent. Here's one of the Rika lists. You can see, even though Rika got the most top 16 spots, none of them got better than top 8, which of course top 8 is still very, very good. I'm not trying to discredit anybody who did get top 8 or top 16, but Yeah, again, a lot of these people I think who probably gravitated towards Rika are less dedicated Rika mains and more picking it up because, again, the deck did well recently. Which, again, nothing wrong with, but just want to point that out. Hey, Whaley Davey, rather. I recognize that name from various tournaments like the MCS, and I think the RCS, Worklosis tournaments as well. Alright, here we have a Dragon Link list. Try? I was about to say Tri Brigade. Wishful thinking, maybe, but here's one of the other Rika lists. Here's one of the other Pearly lists. Another Rika list here. Another one of the Dragon Link lists on 50 cards, funnily enough. Here's a Cash Punk list from Onslaught, who is actually a patron, subscribed on my Patreon, and for quite a while was subscribed on the coaching tier as well. So, hell yeah. It is awesome to see you do well in these tournaments, Onslaught. That's awesome. Yeah, I know one of the last coaching sessions we did, you were talking about entering the DK Meta Weekly. And I had faith. I knew I'd see you in the top 16 here. So, hell yeah. Yeah, awesome Cash Punk list, teched out against Pearly and the meta as a whole, which when it comes to something like a single Elim best of 3, I definitely think is definitely the way to go, right? Because obviously we don't have a side deck, we're going to have to, use some of our main deck slots in order to play some of our side deck cards. And I noticed in the past that that's not a good idea to do that. It's not a good idea to do that for best of 1 ladder. But again, because the DK Meta Weekly is specifically a best of 3 single Elim, I think using some of your main deck slots for side deck cards, like the Feather Duster and the Cosmic Cyclone and the Book of Moon is totally fine. So, hell yeah. Awesome to see Onslaught doing well there. Wow, Armed Dragon. Armed Thunder Dragon here, which is cool. Played by Heartbreaker. Tidacon's got a Pendulum list. Lemon, we recognize Lemon for sure. See them around a lot too. Looks like they are on Pearly with Volcanic Shells here instead of Dark Worlds. And yeah, cool. Got a couple of other smaller tournament lists we'll look over more briefly. The Master Cup, mostly Pearly, Nichuria Runic doing well here. But it was a Sword Soul Tenny list that ended up winning. Mathmat coming in second. That's pretty rad to see using the Terahertz package. I really do think this is the way to go with Mathmat, is to play Terahertz and the like. We see a lot of these lists starting to gravitate more towards Kurikara Divine Carnate, which will definitely be a lot better, I think, once we start seeing the second wave of Kashira here in Master Duel. But more Runic Nichuria, more Pearly lists. Here's another Mathmech list, which is pretty rad to see. This one doing more of the cyber stuff with like Lady Debug and all that. And we have Runic Twin Sprite here as well. It's also cool. So, yeah. Alright, Factory Cup, and we have one more we'll look over very briefly. This one was 40 players. Looks like Pearly ended up winning, very standard list. 60 card Dragon Link coming in second here. We have, I think Vodka for Free has actually been on Tri-Leerlisk for a minute, perhaps, or maybe I just recognize this person topping in tournaments, rather in general, so that's cool. And then we have another Pearly list here. Another Pearly for going into top 8 now. 60 card Lab deck. Wow. It's pretty cool. Another pretty standard Pearly list. And another fairly standard Pearly list. I got one more. The Evil League. We'll just briefly look at this real quick. Pearly, Dragon Link. Yeah, a bunch of stuff you would expect to see here. Tier Element's also featuring here in the top 8. That's neat. Looks like Lab ended up winning this one. Ooh, hell yeah. We got Sword Soul featuring Assault Synchron and the Bestials. Always love to see my boy Assault Synchron getting some rep. More Dragon Link, more Pearly. Yeah, cool stuff. Alright, so that's going to go ahead and do it for this week in Master Duel. Thanks everybody for watching, and be sure to join next week, as around this time we should be seeing the new selection pack come in. And I will definitely be opening quite a bit of those. I definitely am going to have enough gyms to open over 100 packs, so absolutely look forward to that. But let's go ahead and just move now to our outro. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching all the way to the very end. That means a whole lot to me, and it's also a fantastic way to support the channel. And if you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways besides YouTube, there are plenty of ways to do that. If you check out the description below, you'll find a bunch of links down there. One of them goes to my Patreon. You're actually seeing the names of everyone subscribed to the Patreon on the screen right now. So if you're interested in getting your name in the credits here at the end, if you want to see more daily Master Duel content, or if you're interested in one-on-one private coaching sessions, I offer all of that on Patreon. I also stream live on Twitch. Feel free to go ahead and click that link and follow and or subscribe there. I also have the Discord community, if you want to follow that link, where hundreds of duelists have already signed up. Free to join, and you can just come hang out, talk about the game, and chill in general. Final link that's going to be in the description is my Twitter. You can follow that if you want some more notifications of what's happening with the channel. So, all in all, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.